ever have trouble finding RicRac? You know, they used to make it and it used to be readily available. Well, I have a great solution for you. Hi, I'm Hope Yoder with Embellish, manufactured by R&K Distributing. And I've got some samples on the table I want to talk to you about. The first thing I want to talk about is RicRac. RicRac is so popular now. It's a traditional trim that you used to purchase freestanding that you could top stitch or sew or embellish. Get it? You could embellish it. Well, now you can embroider it on a surface like this pillow that I have here. And I've used our beautiful 40 weight matte embroidery threads. So these threads are your traditional 40 weight, but they're not cotton. They're super strong, 100% polyester. And we've used these to match the sun and soil fabric just to make this beautiful decorator pillow. And if you'll notice the RicRac, we have a single strand and then we have two strands. And then I just mirror image them, so I had a couple more strands, and you could even weave ribbon over and under. But this is not freestanding RicRac. This is RicRac that I embroidered onto fabric. So I'll talk about how I made the pillow in a little bit, but I want to start with freestanding RicRac. Now, our software is called Embellish Maker. It is thebomb.com. What's so cool about this is in one click of the mouse, I was able to make all of these different RicRacs. The software knows what to do. It adds the right amount of stitches so that we get all of this beautiful RicRac. But what I want to talk about next is actually what's hidden inside of my pillow. And let's pull this out. Because I asked, could you find RicRac? It is so hard to find freestanding RicRac trims. And it's all over Pinterest. You find it everywhere, but you don't need to hunt for it. You can just embroider it yourself. So let's talk about how to do that. So you could use any color of thread you want. You could also use our Flawless thread, which is a 60 weight shiny polyester thread. Super strong, and this comes in 120 colors. The matte thread comes in 130 colors. So it doesn't matter what thread that you're going to use. Step number one in the software, you're going to create the RicRac design. And we have a video in the software showing you how to make this pillow and also how to make freestanding RicRac. It's just 2 more clicks. You need to add contour and zigzag underlay to get the freestanding effect. Now, what I also want to tell you is you want to wind your bobbin with the same color thread. Now you can wind the same thread that you use, or if you hop on over to our Quilter Select line, they have beautiful pre-wound bobbins and these lovely rings, and that's what I use because it just speeds it up a little bit. But you can use the same thread or check out our Quilter Select bobbins. But you want to make sure that the bobbin is the same as the top thread. And then to get this beautiful freestanding effect, we're going to use our super duper strong Embellish Rinse Away Mesh. Now this is 100% water soluble. It's non-caustic. That's important to me because my husband is a plumber for 30 years. He's really careful what we put down the drain, so you don't have to worry about that. It has more fibers in it than any other rinse away mesh stabilizer on the planet. This will hold 12,000 stitches in a 4x4 hoop. So you only need one layer if you have 12,000 stitches. If you need a second layer, you can just put a second layer in there, and then that is going to hold 48,000 stitches in a 4x4 hoop. So our Embellish Rinse Away Mesh is going to be hooping it. We're going to hoop it, and I did use 2 layers. If you're in doubt, add another layer. It's okay. It's all going to wash away. I have bobbin thread in matching bobbin thread and the bottom, and it matches the top. You're going to do your RicRac. And so you can see that I joined 2 together just like I did on the pillow. You're just going to nestle them inside of each other, embroider it, and then you're going to rinse this, take it out of the hoop, and then I would rinse this in a cold water, and it's just going to go away. Now I have this huge Tupperware bowl. I've been married over 30 years, and I got a lot of Tupperware, and for whatever reason, all the beautiful Mennonite ladies gave me beautiful hand-stitched pillowcases. And so I don't know what that has to do with the story. It just brought back a memory. Sorry, squirrel. But that Tupperware bowl, I bet you have one too. It's like ginormous, and mine is the beautiful harvest yellow that matched the appliances back then. Well, that is my rinse away mesh bowl, dedicated for that. Or popcorn or caramel corn. But I just throw this in that big bowl full of water, cold water, and then I swish it around, and then instantly it dissolves into this. And then I'll change that batch of water probably about 2 or 3 times just to make sure I get it all out. Now with this, it's a little bit stiffer. Do you notice how stiff that is? All right, we didn't rinse it away completely. We just did a quick water bath, dunked it in, dunked it out so it wasn't slick feeling, and I didn't do the second and the third water bath. Now these are a little more flexible because we did remove all the stabilizer. But if I was going to use this for maybe a bracelet or to embellish, to make something, I may not want it to be super flexible. I may want it to be stiff. In that case, just don't rinse it out all the way. Don't give it that second and third bath. So our Embellish Rinse Away Mesh is the bomb. It holds 12,000 stitches in a 4x4 hoop. So that's what we used here to make our freestanding RicRac. Now let's go to our pillow so I can show you what we did with that pillow. We used a couple different products in that pillow, and obviously we have fabric, and that's the Sun and Soil fabric is what this is called, and we used the embellish maker to create that. It's not freestanding, and we have some batting. Now when I make home decorator pillows, everybody has their own favorite method, and there's nothing right or wrong. What I don't like to do is just put fabric and then embroider it. I want a pillow top to have some loft to it. So I actually fused my fabric to this beautiful Embellish Premium fusible batting. So I fused the fabric and then I hooped the fabric with the batting already fused to the back in our Embellish Soft Cutaway. The Embellish Soft Cutaway holds 10,000 stitches in a 4x4 hoop. So with this, I've got a green product that's going to hold a ton of stitches. It is actually very lightweight and see-through, so it didn't add any bulk to this, and you can kind of see that it has movement, but yet it's still sturdy enough to hold the distance. If I'm going to use it on my couch, people are leaning against it. And then I actually used on the back, let's see, I just kind of cheated. I folded that in. I'm going to say I did that so I could show you on camera, but you can kind of see the batting there. So let's talk about how beautiful this RicRac is, because I went one step further. So can we get a good close-up shot of the beautiful embroidery? I want you to see how good that looks. The embroidery looks like it's jumping off the fabric. It's raised. It didn't sink in. The thread didn't sink into my fabric or my beautiful batting. Now we have another video on each product. You can check that out on our webpage to find out more about it. But this premium batting is not showing the fusible through the fabric. I have a light colored fabric, and in the past when I'd used a big thick fleece that was fusible, I'd have dimples show through on light colored fabric. Our fleece won't do that. Well, it's not even fleece. I shouldn't say our fleece. I should say what we developed is the premium fusible batting. It's super lightweight, and you'll never see fusible dimples through your fabric. But why does it stand off so good? Well, let's talk about that. All right, toppers. Let's talk about toppers. Topper, topper, topper. Topper, 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 topper. So with a topper, you should use one on every single design that you embroider. Are you going, what? I've never done that. Well, someone taught me this, Kay Brooks, founder of R&K Distributing. She said, you should always use a topper for everything you embroider. I said, I don't know why I would need to do that. And she said, just trust me, you need to do it. And she explained why I needed to do it. I went back to my hotel room. We had educator training, and I'm thinking about all that she told me, and I know that she's being truthful, and her samples were gorgeous. And then I started thinking about the toppers. Well, we have an iron away topper that forever stays underneath the thread, even if you wash it and dry it or dry clean it. And then we have a rinse away topper for something that you need a little more soft and flexible. But I couldn't get over the fact of, if it goes away and I tear it away, why do I need it? Well, then I remembered I almost always used to take my embroidery out of the hoop, turn it upside down on a thick terry towel or a wool felt pad or something that had squishy loft, and then I would iron it upside down and I would pull it taut. And that made the stitches or the thread come unsink if they've sunk onto even cotton fabric, it'll actually just kind of raise that thread so it sits better and looks better on the top of the fabric. I did that every time I embroidered something. And then I noticed, you know what, since I've been using the topper, I've never done that. It's been a year and I've never done that. Well, what if you thought about a topper as not a topper, but as a spacer? You got that little bit of space between the fabric and the thread, so that the thread will never, ever, ever, ever sink down into the fabric. So a topper isn't just for loft fabric like minky or toweling. You should use it on cotton fabric too if you want the best embroidery possible. And so because I don't need to worry about this being on a t-shirt that's going to drape or mold to a body or a shape, I could use the iron away topper because this is a decorator pillow. And to use that, you're going to just lay it over the hoop. You could tape it down with our embroidery perfection tape, or you could baste it in the hoop. Then I did all of my RicRac with a topper underneath, so the topper is between the thread and the fabric. And then when you're done with the topper, you pull it away and it perforates. This is super lightweight, beautiful topper, and it stays forever and a day underneath the beautiful RicRac. So it's never going to go anywhere. It keeps that thread looking as good as what you see it. Now, if you had a design that had a little bit of an iron away topper in the middle and it didn't pull away, we have a weeding vinyl tool that's beautiful to help weed that away. Or you take a low temperature, y'all read directions. If you're like me, I'm just a bull in a china shop, and I know we put directions there for a reason, and one of the really important things to know about this is that it's a low melt. You want to have a low setting on your iron, not hot, low. And so that's going to liquefy any little pieces that you couldn't pull away. So I take the tip of the iron and I run it around and around with a low temperature, and it liquefies that, and then it looks this good. So there are a lot of products. Quick recap. Embellish Maker software. On this sample, we used the matte thread. We fused premium fusible batting to the back of the fabric. All right, so the fabric and the web and the batting, the fusible batting, are one. Then I hooped all of that with our Embellish soft cutaway stabilizer that holds 10,000 stitches and a 4x4 hoop. And before I started, I engaged my automatic basting feature. And then I laid the topper down, and then I got this beautiful pillow that everybody tries to take. When I do my events, people come up to me and they're like, that is so gorgeous. Did you top stitch that trim down? And then I tell them the whole story, and they want everything just like you probably do now to get all of these beautiful RicRac, whether it's a freestanding RicRac or embroidered onto fabric RicRac. So I hope this helped you. You guys give us a shout out. Show us the samples that you're making with the products that we use on our social media page. Until next time, happy sewing.